Welcome back to the deep dive. If you've ever wanted a shortcut to, well, getting ahead of the curve, you're in the right place. Today, we are cracking open some really electric source material.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
We're digging into a very detailed, pretty engaging forecast specifically for November 2025. And this wasn't just some casual prediction, it was actually a script designed for an astrology YouTube channel.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And they described the celestial movements for that month as, and I quote, absolutely wild.
Wild. Sounds about right. But look, we aren't just here for the cosmic hype, are we? Our mission today is, well, let's say gaining the ultimate edge. We want to extract the hard, specific, actionable bits. We're looking for those keys, maybe insight into a big promotion or finding that perfect soulmate connection, or maybe finally sorting out a tricky money situation. We need this for all 12 signs as they head into the final stretch of the year.
Exactly. It's about finding the patterns and, more importantly, the practical applications. So this deep dive, it's got that dual focus you mentioned, money looking at stability, investments, potential gains, and love intimacy, communication, commitment, all that good stuff.
Right.
And what's really fascinating, I think, is the overarching theme that the source material suggests for November 2025. There's this clear, almost forceful push towards transformation. It's demanding commitment, securing solid foundations, both financial and emotional, before the year actually ends.
So definitely not a month to just coast.
No, definitely not passive for anyone.
Okay, let's unpack this intense period then. Maybe start with the fire signs. When we talk Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, the sources kept hitting themes of intensity, power plays, and interestingly, shared assets.
Okay, sounds good. Let's kick off with Aries, the forward momentum. Financially, the real key takeaway for Aries seems to be realizing that financial power this month isn't just about them, it's achieved through mastering collaboration and transparency.
Okay, so less lone wolf, more pack leader.
Kind of, yeah. The focus is squarely on joint finances. That means shared resources, or maybe investments made with a partner or spouse.
And the source mentioned Mars, their ruling planet, gives them a power boost. What does that actually look like on the ground?
Well, practically it means they've got the drive, the energy to finalize major financial planning, or maybe secure a really favorable loan or mortgage. It's definitely an assertive energy geared towards securing their status.
Okay.
But there's a but. The caveat is they need to avoid becoming obsessed with control. It's about leading the planning, sure, but not completely taking over.
Yeah.
Collaboration, remember.
Right, collaboration. Now, wait a second. The notes also mentioned electric and deep soul-level transformation for Aries love life. That sounds intense, especially if they're also stressing about mortgage documents. Is the source really saying they can juggle both that level of passion and that kind of financial focus at the same time?
It seems like they're almost forced to. The source does point to high passion, suggesting maybe a major commitment indicator in existing relationships, a real transformation. And for singles, they should be looking for authentic, intense connections, stuff that goes beyond the superficial.
Okay, but how do they manage the stress?
That's the crucial part. Because of all that potential financial stress happening alongside it, clear, honest communication is absolutely vital. It's the tool to stop relationship disruptions. You could say the high intensity might actually help strip away surface issues, for better or worse.
Okay, interesting dynamic. Let's move to Leo, the partnership focus and passionate flame. Leo's usually loving the spotlight, right? But the sources say they shift dramatically into shared concerns this month.
That's right. It's an intense shift, landing squarely in what the source call the solar 8th house. Now, for anyone not up on the astro jargon, that basically means the universe is shining a massive spotlight on shared assets. Collaborative money matters. It's forcing Leo to really audit those joint accounts.
So transparency is key.
Absolutely required. And they're urged to actually take charge, establish a secure framework for those shared assets, lead the way, but transparently.
That sounds pretty demanding financially. But then the love life forecast is described as fiery. Mars and the Sun infusing the romantic sector. Sounds like prime time for partnered Leos to, reignite the flame with big gestures.
Grand gestures are definitely encouraged.
And singles might meet someone sparking an immediate, intense connection. It's quite a contrast, isn't it? Meticulous finance here and then an exuberant passion over there.
Exactly. It's a real balancing act. Then we hit Sagittarius. Financial recovery and romantic harmony. For Sagittarius, recovery seems to be the big financial word.
Recovery? Okay.
Yeah, our source suggests if you've been chasing an outstanding debt or maybe waiting on a payment that's late, November is likely the window where things finally move, where the universe basically says, okay, pay up. This shifts their focus a bit, away from typical Sagittarian risk-taking towards more stability.
So the source advises strong caution against speculation then, favoring practical long-term stuff instead.
Absolutely. This isn't the month for high-stakes gambling. It's more about securing tangible things, maybe property, or investing in education, solid long-term value.
Makes sense. And romantically, harmony restored. That sounds like a relief after potential previous tension.
It does. November encourages shared adventure, maybe taking trips together or exploring intellectual interests as a couple. Open communication, again, that's the tool needed to reconcile any lingering tensions and rebuild trust.
And for single Sagittarians?
Well, thanks to that sort of energized, optimistic outlook they seem to have this month, they tend to draw people in, especially through expanding their social circles, maybe intellectual groups. So connections are often forged over shared ideas, shared philosophies.
Okay, so if we just pause for a second after the fire signs, the theme isn't just raw power, is it? It feels more like shared responsibility.
That's a great point.
Every single fire sign seems forced to consider someone else's assets or needs a partner, a creditor, a joint venture. It's not just about them.
That's a really astute observation.
Yeah.
And that idea of shared focus, it leads us perfectly into the next element. Stability and practical evolution. We're talking Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn.
The bedrock signs, usually.
Often, yes. But the sources suggest that in November 2025, they kind of have to prove their stability by evolving their practical approaches. It's not just about staying put.
Okay, let's start with Taurus, the practical evolution. Taurus is usually slow and steady, wins the race, right? But this month, they get a strong nudge towards practical growth, increasing savings, making prudent long-term investments.
Right. And they might see some support from family, or maybe favorable property deals pop up, which could be a significant win. However, and this is important, Taurus is one of the signs where rising expenses are highlighted.
Oh.
The source specifically mentioned things like home improvements or maybe unexpected social obligations. So this demands really disciplined budgeting. They might be getting the green light for growth, yeah, but the bill could come due pretty quickly.
So they have to avoid big speculative risks. Stick to the tangible.
Exactly. Stick to what's secure.
That sounds like that classic spend money to make money scenario, which, let's be honest, Taurus usually hates. Romantically, the source mentioned potential friction early in the month, maybe linked to this financial stress.
That's possible, yeah. Communication becomes vital there. But the potential payoff is big. The emotional climate seems to improve dramatically as the month goes on, with partners becoming really strong pillars of support by month's end.
And singles.
For single Taurians, new meaningful connections often seem to emerge through trusted circles, family, existing friends. It reinforces that security-focused theme, even in romance.
Okay, next up, Virgo. Relationship commitment and steady growth. This sounds pretty positive financially. Career rewards, recognition.
It does sound quite positive. That's likely Jupiter's influence shining through. In practical terms, it means tangible. Practical growth is probably resulting from their consistent, steady efforts. It's like the universe is finally acknowledging their dependability.
So a stable and productive period for the bank account.
Looks that way, yes.
And the romantic theme for Virgo. Deep commitment and partnership.
That's the headline. They need to focus on strengthening existing bonds, resolving any minor misunderstandings. Again, open communication is key. For singles, the energy this month really supports moving towards serious long-term connections. But, and this is crucial for Virgo, they need crystal clear expectations going in.
Maturity and commitment are the keywords, though.
Absolutely. No ambiguity.
Got it. Finally, for the earth signs, Capricorn. The social expansion and deepening intimacy. This one gets a very favorable financial forecast, right? Support for gains, maybe increased profits or a salary hike.
Yes, very favorable. It also looks like a good time to potentially benefit from old investments or maybe even some careful speculative ventures.
But knowing Capricorn, there's always a catch, or at least a condition.
You know it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
They must recheck all financial documents meticulously. That classic Capricorn attention to detail is critical if they want to maximize these gains. No cutting corners.
Right. And romantically.
Romantically, they also benefit from that helpful Jupiter influence. It seems to bring an enhanced sense of intimacy, strengthens emotional bonds. For singles, connections seem to happen well through an expanding social circle, maybe networking events or wider community involvement.
So the goal for CAP this month is building secure foundations, emotionally and professionally, with an eye on status as usual.
That sums it up perfectly. Strong foundations, looking towards the future.
Okay, moving into our final group, the air and water signs. Here, communication, balance, and intuition seem to take center stage. November for these signs feels like it's all about creative navigation and maybe emotional honesty. Let's start with the air trio. Gemini, the balancing act.
And balancing act really feels like the right phrase for Gemini financially this month. There's potential for gains, yeah, but often from unconventional or maybe foreign ventures, so they need to think outside the box.
There's always a but.
But these gains seem offset by higher expenses. So strict, disciplined budgeting becomes non-negotiable. They're encouraged to find creative solutions, sure, but they absolutely must resist volatile situations. No get-rich-quick schemes.
Okay, so creativity, yes. Recklessness, no. What about love?
In love, there might be a bit of temporary distance. This could be due to that necessary focus on personal development or maybe those demanding career ventures taking up time and energy.
So communication bridges the gap.
Communication and mutual respect are flagged as essential tools here. The source specifically cautions married couples about balancing work-life demands carefully to prevent misunderstandings cropping up because of that distance or distraction.
Makes sense. Okay, Libra, the transformation and balanced thriving. What's the story here? Financially, it sounds pretty stable. Potential for unexpected gains.
Yes. Stable outlook, strong potential for unexpected windfalls even. Strategic professional move could yield big results. And for Libras who own businesses, the sources highlight strategic partnerships looking particularly promising this month.
Okay, but knowing Libra's love for beauty and, well, nice things, is there a spending warning?
There absolutely is. That classic Libra desire for luxury needs to be managed. Caution against impulsive spending is strongly advised, as it could easily derail those strategic gains they're making.
Got it. Keep the credit card cool. And relationships.
Relationships seem to thrive with open communication. It promotes stronger, more resilient bonds. The transformation Libra might be seeking, whether in their relationship status or just emotional expression, really requires finding that balance to gain clarity. Deeper connection and affection are encouraged.
Balance is always key for Libra, isn't it?
Always. Our last air sign, Aquarius, the self-discovery and relationship renewal. Financial caution sounds like the dominant theme here. It really is. Strategic planning is crucial, and they need to actively refrain from impulsive choices, especially with money. Diligence is key for any long-term investments they're considering. What's quite interesting here is how the sources directly connect to this financial theme to their personal journey.
How so?
They link financial independence directly with self-discovery. The idea seems to be that achieving financial maturity actually helps unlock personal freedom and understanding for Aquarius this month.
Ah, I see. Financial maturity equals personal freedom. Romantically.
Romantically, the focus is on renewal, maybe deepening existing bonds. Relationships thrive through open, sincere dialogue, although there's a small note about potential minor miscommunications, so clarity is important. For singles, sparks might fly mid-month, likely through intellectual pursuits. The connection starts in the mind.
Okay, shifting gears now to the water signs. Intuition, deep feelings guiding the way. Let's start with Cancer. Emotional comfort and financial gains. This sounds like a great month for Cancer.
It really does. It's highlighted as potentially a peak financial month. Past investments, especially in things like gold or perhaps the stock market, might yield good returns. The source also notes a strong chance of promotion or increased profits for business owners.
What about new investments? Are there any favorite areas?
Yes, innovative investments, maybe in technology or new ventures, are flagged as favorable. But critically, only if they still feel intuitively right to Cancer. They need to trust that gut feeling.
And this financial strength matches the love life. Comfortable, spontaneous energy.
It seems to complement it nicely, yes. It's described as an excellent time to nurture bonds, create joyful memories, deepen those emotional connections. And for single Cancers, their strong intuition is expected to guide them towards authentic, stable connections. Trust the gut in love, too.
Sounds lovely for them. Now, for Scorpio. Financial consolidation and romantic opportunities. The theme shifts back to strengthening foundations, long-term planning.
Exactly. Back to consolidation. They need to prioritize prudence, disciplined budgeting, Risky financial ventures are definitely something to avoid. November looks favorable for maybe doing property checks or asset reviews, basically, getting a clear picture of exactly what they own and owe.
Okay, solidifying the base. Romantically, it says opportunities.
Yes, opportunities, particularly for deepening existing bonds. The source suggests planning the future together, maybe setting goals for the next year, making concrete plans. For singles, there's strong potential for new, intense connections, especially if they meet someone while pursuing professional goals or advancement.
That's a nice alignment, ambition, and emotion meeting.
It really is
Yeah.
a potentially powerful combination for Scorpio.
Okay, finally, Pisces. The intuitive growth and stable finances. Stable finances sound good. Any specific areas?
Finances look stable, yes. They're likely to benefit, particularly through ventures involving maybe travel, education, or international connections, something that broadens their horizons.
And intuition plays a role here, too.
A big role. What's fascinating is that their intuition is specifically noted as a powerful asset in finances this month. It might guide them towards unconventional investment opportunities that other people might completely miss. They really need to trust that inner voice when it comes to money matters.
Trust the gut again, and their love life. Lighthearted and intellectual.
That's the tone, yes. The key here seems to be fostering personal growth, both individually and as a couple, and maintaining emotional honesty to deepen connections. For singles, they might meet someone with real long-term potential through intellectual activities or social gatherings. Again, trusting that powerful Pisces intuition is key not just for money, but for picking a partner who's genuinely aligned with where they're going. Hashtag synthesis and solid connection. So if we try to pull all these threads together, connect this to the bigger picture for November 2025. The source material really reveals a clear, almost singular pattern, doesn't it?
It feels like it. On the money side, okay, there are opportunities for gains popping up for almost everyone, especially Cancer, Capricorn, Libra. It looked good, but there's this widespread, almost universal demand for disciplined financial prudence alongside it.
Exactly. It's like the universe is saying, look, here are some opportunities, but you absolutely have to be mature and stable enough to handle them.
Yeah, the opportunities come with homework. You have to audit your expenses. We saw Taurus, Gemini, and Scorpio in particular needing to be super mindful of budgeting and avoiding speculation.
Precisely. And the relationship message feels equally strong and consistent. Across nearly all the signs, November seems to require critical communication and commitment to navigate any external stress, especially when money issues are involved, like we saw clearly with Aries and Leo.
Right?
November feels positioned to really force us, or maybe encourage us strongly, to turn our existing relationships into sources of strength, not additional stress. That required maturity was really highlighted for signs like Virgo, Taurus, and Capricorn too.
So, okay, what does this all mean for you listening in? The sources make it pretty clear that November 2025 isn't positioned as some restful month where you just coast into the holidays. Not at all. It looks like a critical period for laying secure foundation. It demands financial clarity, yes, but also emotional commitment. It seems like a push to resolve outstanding issues, define future partnership goals, really get things solidified before the year ends.
Which brings us to perhaps an important question for you to think about as you maybe start preparing for this intense period down the line. If November's energy really is designed to force transformation, especially around those tricky areas like joint assets and deepening intimacy, what's the one honest conversation, maybe a challenging one, about money or future plans or long-term commitment that you've possibly been delaying? What's that conversation that, if you had it, could actually unlock the full potential of this foundational period? It seems like you really need to consider having that talk.
That's excellent food for thought. Definitely something to mull over. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the absolutely wild forecasts of November 2025. We'll see you next time.